you doing? It's Bill Stage, and normally I have an intro for this sort of thing, but it's a segment, and I guess we'll call it QC Songwriters. And we got Jon Gillette with us today. How you doing, John?
Great, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we're just kind of dig into what you do, music-wise, where you came from, and any future projects. So let's start off. I asked you what you were up to today. You said you're in the studio. Got a certain project you're working on today, or what?
Well, I'm always working on new music. It just depends on what hits me for the day,
Mm-hmm.
what I feel, and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm always working on something new.
Right on. Is that what do you do for a full-time job?
Oh, right now I actually I just moved here last year from Los Angeles.
Mm,
Out there, I was in the business, writing, acting, music, everything like that.
okay.
I'm back here doing a project. So right now I still get writing gigs from there, but I also supplement that with Uber.
Okay. So you're a full-time musician. That's awesome.
Right now I do music full time as far as doing placements, TV, film,
Mm,
stuff like that. I came back to the Quad Cities actually to work on a feature film, but some of my music will be in that too.
gotcha.
I'm based. I'm basically started filming a movie last year in Los Angeles and moved back here to finish it off. It's called Aliens, Zombies, and Stoners. It's a
Nice.
wacky comedy. So I do have a Facebook page for it, Aliens, Zombies, and Stoners, and we have a trailer up there right now for this. The ultimate
Nice.
goal is to get it sold,
Uh-huh.
you know. But songwriting's my main love. I've been doing it since I was like 5 years old,
Is
and
that right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so
I've
take me
been
back.
writing
What
since I was.
about when you were 5 years old? What was the first kind of what was the first thing you started writing, or first kind of musical instrument you started playing with?
Well, first I started by stealing lyrics from Elvis Presley's song
Yeah.
and kind of making them into my own songs.
Mm-hmm.
But after a while, it started with I started on the ukulele in the third grade. It's like
Really?
the schools back there kind of forced all the kids to have to play an instrument for music class,
Uh-huh.
and so mine was the ukulele.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun, but and then I moved on to guitar and then on to keyboards and bass and some other
Gotcha.
things. But yeah, when I was younger, man, the guitar was, well, it still is. It's like always in my hand.
Hmm. How old were you when actually started picking up a guitar and learning on the actual guitar?
I would probably say about 11.
Is that right?
I bought a guitar and I started just picking out single notes on it to make up my songs before I even knew how to play chords or anything.
Right.
And then I got the guitar lessons and everything, which taught me how to read music and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
and from there, it's like I couldn't handle playing Mary Had a Little Lamb on the guitar. I kept one of my guitar teacher, I want to play these rock and roll songs,
Yeah.
just show me these things.
What sort of influences did you have back then, John?
Um, well, if we're talking like really young, we're probably like Elvis Presley.
Mhm.
I was a big fan when I was a child of Donny Osmond.
Mm,
When I was young, I wanted to be the next Donny Osmond. But then
yeah.
when I got to be, a teenager, my main influences, I love Cheap Trick.
Mm,
They're one of my favorite bands. Kiss. I was a big Kiss fan
mhm.
when I was a teenager, and you know, love the Beatles.
Yeah.
Love the Beatles, and then like Brian Adams, Rick Springfield, that type of stuff.
Gotcha. It is funny around here specifically. I've noticed a cheap trick with musicians is such a mainstay. What do you think it is about Cheap Trick that people, especially musicians, love?
They're fun songs to play.
Yeah.
They're not complicated at all, and that's just it. Is they're fun to play.
Probably the same
Um,
with Kiss too, right?
yeah, I don't get to see very many people play Kiss around here. I've my friend Scotty is a drummer in a band around here, and they play some Kiss. But But yeah, I don't see a whole lot of people play Kiss around here.
Yeah, yeah.
Too
It's
bad.
there was a band called King's Kiss that did Elvis and Kiss. So
I have seen something like that on the past.
yeah, that was a great
Yeah.
band. A great band. Shout out to those guys. John, when you where did you grow up?
Actually, I grew up in Davenport, but I've
Mm,
lived most of my life in Los Angeles.
gotcha. So
Right after high school, I went out there to with my bandmates to chase fame and fortune.
mm, I want to talk about that. Where when was the decision? How was the decision made? Talk to me about the conversation with your band and your family to make the move out there. What was the discussion?
Well, that was like always my plan. I wasn't sure if anybody was ever going to come out there with me, but then my best friend Brian was a drummer in my band, and he decided he wanted to go on the adventure with me. And
Mm.
there was another guy in a popular rock band around here. You may have heard of him or not. His name's Robbie Barr.
Oh
But
yeah, I know Robbie.
yeah, well, Robbie was the guy that I moved out to LA with.
Okay, gotcha.
So we all moved out there and got a place in Hollywood right off the corner of Sunset and La Brea, right in the middle of everything. And it was a blast. It was in the late '80s, and
Mm.
that was the end of the hair metal days there on the Sunset Strip. So I was glad that I got to be a part of that. And
Yeah.
you know,
That's an interesting era for sure. The end of the '80s, a lot of probably Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses coming up.
yeah.
Did you get to see any craziness out there?
Yeah, all the time. I actually, one of the things that I did is I worked at an electronics store that was right off the corner of Sunset and La Brea. It was called Federated, and then originally went to Silo, but it catered to all the big celebrities, all the rock stars, and
Mhm.
all the interesting street people
Yeah,
that would come in. So yeah, I feel like I've seen everything, and I definitely feel like I've almost met everybody. That was the cool thing, is that during the late '80s and '90s, as a side gig out there, I did sales, and I was always working at the stores where all the big rock stars came in and
yeah,
everybody. So I got to meet some really cool people.
yeah. That's great. So, how far did you take your music? What was the highest
Oh,
echelon?
I had some. I had it's like a roller coaster up and down. I had some good points. I had some bad points, but
Mhm.
literally Um, uh, 2 years after I got out there, I had a big deal. I got discovered by Marty Ehrlichman, who was Barbara Streisand's manager.
Mm.
At that time, she was the only person he's ever managed, and for the first time in a long time, he wasn't involved in one of her projects. So
Yeah.
I had a publicist at that time. I had a team that was, as an actor, was trying to make me the next Johnny Depp. And anyway, the publicist knew him, and so I went and I did an audition video for him, and he signed me, and he had the deal set up with Capitol. He had a big time producer named Michael J, who had a #1 song with Martika, Toy
Mhm.
Soldiers. He was set up to produce me. A guy named Howard Tyman, Tynerman, who was the merchandising guy for New Kids on the Block. They had him set up to do merchandising. I mean, I had all these meetings. Sam Riddle, the executive producer of Star Search, was involved with this, and it's just for 6 months I was wined and dined and had talking with Capitol people, and just
Yeah.
I thought, here I am. Wow, I've been out here for 2 years, and I've signed a deal, and things are finally happening.
Yeah.
Wasn't happy with the direction of music they wanted me to go, because it was on more on the New Kids on the Block side, but
Mm.
hey. And then I always like to joke that Barbara Streisand derailed my career at one point, but she found out about it, and she wasn't happy about it. And
Mm.
just like that, Marty dropped. And when Marty
Wow.
dropped me, everyone else went away too. The record
Mm.
company, the producers. I mean, I'm still friends with the music producer Michael J to this day, but still,
Yeah.
they all went away.
Wow.
Tough lesson. Yeah.
Yeah. What an
And
experience, though.
yeah, and then in the mid '90s, it's like I did more acting and writing, and then the late '90s, I got a record deal with Red Eye Records through a producer named Tony Deniro, who was one of P Diddy's guys. I got to play for P Diddy, which was
Mm.
really cool.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was to basically we were like a subsidiary record company of a bigger thing, and so P Diddy was actually going to sign us to his label. So that's what the showcase thing was for.
Hmm.
After that, I come to find out through Tony, because what I did is I signed a record deal with them. They were supposed to work on my stuff. They never did. He had me writing for other people on his label, and then
Hmm.
he formed a band with me called The Movement. And that band, we were ahead of our time. I think we were. It was like black soul singers, harmonies along pop rockish music, kind of like what
Hmm.
Bruno Mars does now.
Gotcha.
And basically, P Diddy did offer us a deal, but supposedly it was one of these what they call tax write-off deals.
Ah,
Uh, Record companies do these type of things. They'll sign a certain amount of acts just as a tax write-off.
wow.
So that didn't go through. But other than that, I stayed in music after that, and basically went went playing all around LA, the area, and always kept writing, doing placements for like TV and film and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Let's talk a little bit about songwriting. I'm fascinated with where things come from and the different ways people go about it. Talk to me. Do you have a specific kind of structure that you implement in order to pull a song out, or how does it work for you?
Yeah. Well, actually, I do now. I have been writing for so long and am such a big fan of the mechanics of songwriting that I feel like I know the formula. Uh,
Hmm.
I mean, just if I had to spit out a 3 minute song, I just know inherently where where my verses stop and where my chorus and hooks and everything goes.
Right.
It's just I've been doing it for so long that yeah, I will just decide one day, you know what? I want to write a song that sounds like Queen, you
Hmm.
know, and I'll just get my piano out and just start, playing some eighth notes, dun dun, just anything like that.
Hmm.
So I'm at the point right now because the music business where it is, it's kind of tricky right now where you can get placements. And I mean, so as I'm trying to do it, I still write for myself.
Yeah.
I love just coming up with different things every day. But if you talk to enough songwriters, you'll probably say, "Oh man, they don't know where it comes from. It just like comes from out of nowhere." And I will say that we all of us on this planet are creators. We all create, but I
Hmm.
mean, it really is amazing to in just a minute or 2 minutes have something come from nowhere that's wow.
Yeah.
That it pleases you and has a good possibility I'm pleasing somebody else.
Yeah.
That's an amazing feeling, and that's literally why I keep doing it. I mean, I'm write new music every day. It's weird if somebody asked me to sit down and play like get the guitar out and play a recent song I wrote. I
Hmm.
have to think about it a little bit just because I don't learn the songs like to go out and play them live. It's like I'll
Right.
write it one day, record it the next one day, and then move on to the next song.
Yeah.
So it's like I have this huge library of tunes that sometimes I'll go through because I've written and recorded over 1,000 songs
Mm.
over the last 10 years. And so I'll go through my hard drives or stuff, and I'll just be looking at all these titles of songs that I have no idea what they sound like. And then I click on it and I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that one,
That's
you
interesting.
know.
So when you sit
Yeah.
down and you're like, okay, I'm, maybe going to do something that kind of sounds like Queen. You've been inspired. You've got the specific feeling that you're going for. When you're talking about words, um, do you sit down and I want to write a love song, or is that something that kind of flows through you? And when you go back and listen to these, you go, I kind of don't know where this came from, but I think I know what it's about finally.
Yeah, I generally, when it comes to the words, um, do that last.
Mm,
Generally, what happens is I'll just be plunking on the guitar, or the keyboard, and the melody line will come to me. That's what generally kind of gets me going is a melody line because once I get it, it's just I have a very good idea where to take it.
Hmm.
And so the melody line for me is like really one of the biggest things, because you can just play three kind of boring chords, so to speak, but
Hmm.
you could put a bunch of different types of melodies all over that.
Yeah.
So I really concentrate on the melody.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Sometimes I'll sit down to learn a cover song. It's a song that strikes me, and I sit down and play the chords, and I'm like, wait a minute, the same chords for the chorus as it is the verse. How do they make it sound so different? And just putting that melody over top of it.
Well, that's a big thing nowadays. Is what you'll find if you've if a lot of I'd say a trend over the last 10 years or more has been for a lot of songs to basically repeat the same chord progressions for the verse, chorus, even sometimes bridge. Like
Mhm.
Katy Perry is very popular doing that. But it's like when you see these songs and you see like 7 or 8 songwriters on them, it's just, what these people do is they send out these tracks, and they'll like pick and choose. Oh, that person gave me a really good melody for the verse. That person gave me a really good melody for the pre-chorus, and that person gave me a really
Interesting.
good melody for the hook. And that's how they put it all together. Before you know it, you have 6 or 7 songwriters. But
Sure.
I will say that I do that a lot myself now.
Yeah.
I will write a lot of songs that have the same chord progression over and over again, but I change up the melodies in the
Is that
different
just because
spots.
you're following the trends of nowadays?
No, it's just kind of weird. That's where it leads me a lot of
Mm.
times. Because like I said, I'm a really big fan of songs like that can take it to a new place.
Yeah.
And of course, in the arrangements, you might add an extra instrument or an extra
Sure.
part or something to help build. But I actually love that if you can come up with some really catchy melody lines for each spot. That's a writing exercise in itself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But my main thing that I always used to do is I would always have a verse and a pre-chorus, and then the chorus. Where a lot of songwriters out there will have a verse and then go straight into a chorus. But I would always have a pre-chorus that would be a different chord progression or
Hmm.
different arrangement. And I still do that a lot today. I rarely write a song that's just goes from verse into chorus. I always like something linking them somehow.
Yeah. I like the build.
Yeah, I definitely like building when I record, definitely.
For sure. John, what else do we want to get out there? Where can people find some music of yours, and how can people hear
Um,
what you
you
got,
can
what you're
find
up to?
my music at jongillettemusic.com,
Hmm.
and you can basically find it at soundclick.com/Jon Gillette. And one more, bandlab.com/Jon Gillette.
Okay, and I'll link those up here in the blog below. So, are these just different places um, for like people in the industry to be able to find you? Why are you picking all these different kind of
Yeah,
sites?
yeah. Basically, the JonGilletteMusic.com is for anybody in the industry and stuff
Hmm.
like that. The other two sites is just a place that allows me to put up all my demos and everything, because I've got, like I said, I work on them daily. I've got dozens and dozens of them, so
Yeah.
I just put them all up to be out there.
Nice. Well, keep at it, man. I appreciate your time here, and I look forward to
Yeah.
rifling through your catalog.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate that. Once again, I appreciate your time being here, and hopefully the goal is in the next 6 months or so that I'll be out playing live around the Quad Cities.
I would love that. I look forward to coming and seeing you, man.
All right. Thank you very much, man.
All right. Thanks, John.